All right, y'all. Back with another Bearded Bros Golf Show. I'm Rod,
And I'm Marcus.
and we're here with another one. Topics for the week: WGC getting the getting the dirt thrown on them. It's the last time we'll see it for the foreseeable future. Iron covers, are they ever acceptable? Other golf quirks, and just any other random thing that we may come up with here. So those are the main topics for today. Let's jump into the WGC with Sam Burns pulling it out. Winning his match early in the day, looking really sharp and honestly back to form where he was the last couple of years. This is his fifth win on tour,
Yeah.
first since last year. But I've been looking at his career and just saying, okay, that's pretty consistent that he's won two times in 21, 22, and then now his first win this year, and looking like he's finding form. What do you think about Sam Burns and his career and just his play today and throughout the weekend of the WGC?
Yeah. Clearly he's had a great career arc going forward. Didn't see him making it this far, but goes to the test that the cream gonna rise to the top every time. And he literally went undefeated the whole week. Did not drop a match in round robin play, and of course, went all the way. But to me, I felt like that was a great match play event in overall because you saw all four of the semifinalists. They were undefeated going all the way, like no group play losses, no nothing.
Right.
So felt like all the right people made it to the final four. Now, of course, TV wise, we would have loved to see Scotty versus Rory, but we just got it in the consolation. So, Sam Burns
Right.
kind of dismantling Cam Young like that. And it was kind of honestly, shocking because I was like, oh, let me check back on that in a little bit when I was coming from work. And sure enough, I got home and they had like the ceremony over on like number 13 for the championship. And I'm like, the match is over that
Right.
quick?
It was so random. Yeah, I was like, dang,
Crazy.
that's we still got two players on the course fighting it out for third.
Right.
So yeah, that was definitely that was definitely interesting to see. I mean, like you said, cream rise to the top. Scotty Scheffler coming in ranked number one or seeded number one in the tournament. Rory ranked number three. I thought the seedings came out pretty damn well.
Yep.
Burns looked like he belonged there, and him and Scotty. You could tell the intensity between them two. There wasn't a lot of talking. Even though the broadcast they were talking heavily about their being friends, traveling together, staying together on tour when traveling, and so just to see him step up to the plate against one of the hottest golfers in the world right now and handle his business, and then also kind of just make it anticlimactic in the final round with Cam Smith. He just or Cam losing my crap. So Cam just just dominated him. So
Yeah.
thinking live already.
Stop.
But number two, I know. Number two, John Rahm did not show up this week. And ever since a few weeks ago, coming off of his win at the Genesis, him saying that he could not be defeated if he was playing his best, he has not played anywhere near his best. It's just really, I guess, disappointing on my end just to see him fall off that way.
Hmm.
Clearly he's a great golfer and the game will come back around. It's a long season. It's amazing how much golf we've seen already and memorable golf at that. For him to find form and lose form. So even though this is, just a kind of splash in the bucket, him falling off, what do you think, is going on with him right now and why? What do you think about him not even being competitive these last few weeks?
I think it's tough because you want your top players to continue to play well. That brings ratings, that brings attention, and then of course you want him to keep going because you don't want to see it necessarily replicated, but when you got a guy like John Rahm, you want to see him make strides to show dominance. And when you're hit or miss, and when you're falling off the wagon, just like what's happening now, it's kind of disappointing because you want to see how good he can be, how deep the run can go. And then, you just got to look back on history and know that when Tiger was doing it, nobody else was doing it. Tiger's falling off, and
Yeah.
nobody's still doing what he's doing to dominate the game like that. So it's just kind of disappointing
Yeah.
because it's like you have all the tools, but nobody's putting it together as consistently as ever. So I think it hurts a little bit.
No, Tiger was a different. He was a different beast. He was able to talk that talk and back it up. Just no one like him, and we will never see another one like that to be able to dominate consistently and just kind of crush competition. Just a sidebar. This kind of reminds me of a conversation that's going on around the NBA right now, where Mario Chalmers said that no one respects LeBron or is afraid of LeBron. Have you seen this clip?
Yeah, I think it was a pretty goofy comment, but
And
role
that
players
reminds
always
me
talk
of how
like
people
that.
talked. And it reminded me of how greasy people used to try to come at Tiger and kind of sneak, some disses in there and not being able to back it up or be a lesser player. So it's very interesting to see that
Facts.
dynamic play out. And I have a clip that you posted this week on your socials that I missed and saw later once you posted it. PGA Tour and Scratch Golf kind of put this mashup of Tiger dominating at the WGC match play
Oh yeah.
against Stephen Ames, who was always kind of an asshole to me. So I'm going to cue this up here, get this playing, just kind of we can reminisce on WGC, the head-to-head that we will no longer be getting now that it's being taken off of the schedule. And we'll come back to that after this clip.
Errant shots from Woods. Anything can happen, especially where he's hitting the ball.
No need to fire Tiger up.
I think Tiger might be a little annoyed at the comments that Stephen Ames made about his play so far this season, with 2 wins to his credit.
Augusta revisited.
Tiger's found the rough as Stephen Ames laid up.
That's the 5-wood. It's downwind, and Manny's hit it pretty well, and it's on a good line.
To get that power into that shot from that rough is incredible. 253 yards that was, folks.
Ahead of his time.
Well, that looks right at it.
Look at that club twirl.
You can tell when he twirls that club that he likes it.
Right.
Not again, Tiger. Goodness.
And Tiger Woods to win the match here at 10. Knockout punch. Woods not only survives and advances, but basically destroys Stephen Ames today. 9 and 8.
So Stephen suggested that maybe you weren't driving the ball just in all the right places, and I think you showed him all the right places today.
I think I did all right today. Yes, I think he understands now.
That little part at the end with him saying, I think he understands now, gets me every time.
That is some of the coldest shit talk ever. I think he gets where I'm coming from now, bro. I think he knows. Like, that's so grimy.
Right. And the thing about golf is it's such a gentlemanly sport that you have to still go up there after getting dominated 9 and 8, making it only to hole number 10 and having to shake that man's hand after he takes you out behind the woodshed. It's just nuts to me how this game works, and I don't think we'll ever see a domination like that. Golf is just there's just too much parity for somebody to go in and win that many holes straight on somebody.
Man. And I think and luckily the other part of the interview, they interviewed Stephen Ames too, and Stephen he didn't make any excuses. He was like, there's times where you can say things like that, and there's times where you shouldn't, and my club's getting in late and things like that. It's no excuse. So he really showed me what was up, and he was nice about it because he got his ass drugged, and I was very appreciative of that.
So we're not going to get moments like that, at least definitely not in the 2024 season. They kind of made that very certain this week that there would be no WGC match play. I think that is a miss. Honestly, I look forward to this week. The venue, they've been at Austin Country Club since 2016. It sets up very well for match play. I think just it's up and down. It's a lot of gettable holes. There's also the par
Right.
fives that are gettable. A very memorable, die designed course. I think it's amazing on TV. It's iconic, and we're gonna miss seeing it at this venue. I know they had it out in the desert. I think it was Dove Mountain years ago, and so just seeing it here for the last 8 years, it's going to be missed. And I think just having that one kind of match play event in the middle of the season to kind of break it up away from regular stroke play. They got to get back to it, and they kept saying,
Agreed.
"Oh, we'll come back to Austin if this does come back around." So, what are you gonna miss about it? What are your thoughts on it going away? Do you think it's a huge mistake to not have this in the season going forward, as far as we know?
Yes, I think it's a mistake. I mean, you can't just rely on it's it's hard to say you can't rely on the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup because those are such highly touted events. But as far as the regular season goes, I want to personally see more than one match play. I want to see two, at least three. I think, like we talked about earlier, or maybe I just talked about it with you, but I feel like the Zurich could be a good chance for the 2v2 match play type stuff. That's a good chance for you to do best ball and stuff like that, just like a Ryder Cup event. It's already fun. It's already a team event. Just go ahead and make it a match play. And then just having an individual. And I feel like they want to gravitate back towards the Dove Mountain system where it was just the step ladder. There was no round robin. Everybody was you win, you move on, you lose, you go. I feel like we should have one of each. I feel like we should have the round robin match play, and then it goes into single elim, and then we have one that's just a step ladder. And I feel like you keeping it with both sides of it makes everybody happy, and then you get another match play event in there. You have one early and you have one late, like right before the playoffs start or something like that. And I just think it's a break from the standard of going as low as you possibly can for 4 straight days, which you're trying to take away from us anyway. So you might as well add match play in anyway.
Yeah.
So I think they're making
What courses would you select?
Now that's a good question. I feel like, you gotta do something. To me, as many hubs as there is in Dallas, I feel like you got to do like a Dallas course if we're not doing Austin, and then a Florida course because everybody plays the Seminole. All those guys live in Florida. They play the Seminole. They play the Floridian. They play Lake Nona. All the courses that are familiar amongst players to where they feel like they have a leg up anyways. Do something that's going to make the players play. Don't take them to a course like in Idaho or a new course in Washington or something like that. Put them, had to do.
Yeah, I may disagree with you a little bit on that. The reason I say that is because we probably weren't super familiar with Austin Country Club prior to it coming onto the map, right? There wasn't an event there previously, so maybe there's a hidden gem somewhere in the mix that we don't know about. That it's a local favorite, or it's a private club that has a really good reputation. I don't know either. I don't have a really good answer myself, but I agree with you. I think more would be better. The top players show up for it.
Exactly.
Only miss we had was this week was Justin Thomas, and that really he wasn't even missed. There were so many good names out there. The tournament was robust with the people that we know, so I don't think it was a miss at all. It was a really good tournament. I liked the whole group play, and then going into single elimination from there.
I like it too.
I thought it was perfect, honestly, because then, like you said, the cream will rise to the top. The best players ended up winning all of their matches. Does that always happen where you're undefeated in group play? Sometimes it gets a little bit tight in past years. So, I think it's a miss. Hopefully they bring it back. Hopefully there's enough noise made from the players. And I just want to underscore, I was thinking about this today. There's been so much good golf here in the early part of the season. It's ridiculous. Even looking at the promos as they were playing this week, this Valero Texas Open is going to be pretty stacked as well. There's going to be a bunch of names, and maybe that's because it's the week before the Masters, which that's crazy that we're already here. Great. I'm excited, but we have another good tournament with names that showing up. I believe Ricky Fowler is going to be there this week. Tom Kim, he's my sleeper pick to take off in the next few years. I love me some Tom Kim.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to have another good tournament. There's so much good golf this year.
I agree. It's so much. It's just so much competitiveness going on.
Yep. All right. I think let's transition into our next topic, which is really our main topic today. This is a polarizing topic, and my thoughts were a little harsher before reading this quote that I'm going to pull up here on the screen from Aaron Rai. If you don't know him, fairly new to the PGA Tour. I think he was on the DP a couple of years ago. That's his face. And let's pause this quote regarding why he uses iron covers. I grew up in a very much working class family, and golf has always been a very expensive game. I started from the age of 4, and my dad used to pay for the equipment, pay for my membership, my entry fees, and it wasn't money that we really had, to be honest, but he'd always buy me the best clubs. When I was about 7 or 8, my dad bought me a set of Titleist 690 MBs, and they were like 800,000 pounds back then, just for a set of clubs for a kid. I cherished them. When we used to go out and practice, he used to clean every single groove after with the pen and baby oil. That's meticulous. Although on the PGA Tour, we get given everything that we need. It's more out of principle, the value of not losing perspective of what I've had and where I am. Beautiful sentiment. I get it. I really do. But F those iron covers. Just straight. They are never acceptable. And I'll let you go on this, but when I posted to this stream, I had a comment come in pretty early, and I'm going to put that up on the screen from one of my longtime viewers of the channel, Ryan. He said iron covers are never acceptable, and I couldn't
1,000% agree.
So tell me your thoughts. Tell me why iron covers are completely unacceptable for you.
Iron covers to me are like the equivalent of the guy who has his rain cover on his bag everywhere he goes. To me, it means you're either super unprepared or you're over prepared. Because the old heads come out with the iron covers. They have this set that they've had for 8 years, and they trying to prolong them. And it's a 2007, tailor-made burner set that you can get for $300, like fresh off the rack. And they're coveting this stuff. So to me, I think it's a joke. Yeah. I think it's like what his dad was doing. You clean the clubs up after you hit them, they're gonna stay pretty. You're playing recreational. You're not playing competitively a lot of these rounds. So for you to feel like you need to play the ball down and hit it off of roots and hit it off of these gravel patches and stuff, brother, look at your clubs and make an executive decision that it's not that serious, bro. It really isn't. So
yeah,
there's different ways for you to clean your clubs and keep them cute than iron covers. It's just a mockery to me.
My thought on this is that iron covers just logistically don't make sense to me, honestly. They don't affect the performance of the club. If you have a few nicks and dings in your clubs, it's just a nice patina. Shows that they're used. It's like a house that looks spotless all the time. Does anybody even live here? It's just a little bit, I don't know. I have a boy that also just, when you think about playing with him, he always does iron covers, and I'm going to pull them up here on the screen. I snuck a shot earlier in the year, just in anticipation that at some point this would come up. And so he's even got his personalized. He's got the big hitter, and I don't shame him because he's gone all in on the iron covers, but we end up losing, like, especially. Yes, those are custom iron covers, and we ended up getting kind of a similar set of clubs around the same time. And honestly, mine don't look, they look pretty damn good for a year's wear, clanging around in the bag. I could not do it. They get lost if you don't have a consistent pattern of, let's say you take it off, put it in your pocket, put it back on as soon as you're done. But if you throw it in the basket, in the cart, or in a random place, they are easy to get lost and slow down pace of play. I don't ever see a logistical reason why iron covers should ever be put into play. I get it. Some people are just like, it's a money thing. But again, performance has not changed. It's not like a wood where it can crack and have, issues from that or clanging around like that. It's not a wood. So I've never seen someone outside of this kind of value for money and just kind of growing up with very little that they value the clubs. But again, I'm pretty sure that there's science out there that says the clubs are unaffected. I've never seen a pro outside of Aaron Rye wearing, putting iron covers on his bag. I know Rory, Sabatini has a weird bag where all the clubs are on the outside. That's about the closest thing that I've seen to that on the pro tour. And I get it. They are able to recycle and refresh clubs every year, but I don't know, man. It's just like some things, it's like upgrade your life once you've made it to a certain point.
But
that's what I got.
Yeah, but it's like you see most of the people that have iron covers also have 14-hole divider bags. Bro, they're already separated and safe. You're not even in like a 4-hole like divider where they clanking together. You're already separated, bro. Like, you're good, homie. You are absolutely okay.
Yeah.
It's just overkill,
To me, there's two type of people in the world: people who don't use iron covers and serial killers. That's it.
Thank you.
I feel like you have to have some crazy stuff going on with you. And I tell you, my boy that I ride with every week, he's a cool cat. I don't feel like he's crazy, but I've not met anybody else that's just not a little bit off that rocks the iron covers. Just saying.
Just a little bit lost, We'll get him back on the road.
A little bit
on the right road.
He's also got the 2-glove thing going on too. So there's more than just a handful of things with Aaron Rye that are a little bit off. So
you're talking about Aaron Rye. I thought you were talking about JP. I was about to say we're gonna have to have a
No, Aaron Rye with the 2 gloves. But I think that brings up another kind of interesting thing about golfers. We're very idiosyncratic. We have certain things that we need to feel like that are absolutely necessary to play a good game of golf, even if that doesn't work out every single time. But I feel like if you don't do this one thing, you're guaranteed to have a bad day out on the course. So let's talk about some of those quirks, things that we have to have to play a good round or feel like you have to have in your bag. What are some of those things for you?
Let's go down the list. So first of all, if I'm playing with anybody that's important to me, like you, or like for Brett, or like, like people I don't normally play with, I got to have my favorite shoes on. I got to have my best sneaks on, and I got to have a cold fit on so that you're not thinking I'm coming half-stepping. I can't, no refurbished stuff, no not fresh stuff. Then secondly, I got to have my favorite ball marker and my favorite divot tool. And then I got to make sure all my balls are marked the same way. We don't do any unmarked golf balls. And then my gloves, especially in Texas and then in the heat, I am very religious about my 3-glove system.
Okay, pause. Note to everybody that's tuning in: this man's hands are super sweaty, so the 3 gloves is an absolute must. It's
it's warranted, and it's not even like my hands are sweaty. It's my arms,
Right.
my face, everything is sweaty. Just drips down. Like my extremities are actually very dry. My feet, my hands are physically dry. They just end up so soaked all the time. So that about gets it. But even in the summer, like I need another polo.
Yeah.
Like I'm very quirky when it comes to golf, but like I feel like
Yes.
I am so steadfast with it that it's just second nature now. So I don't feel like I'm that weird. What about you, Rod?
No.
What do you need?
I didn't say you were weird. I just you have hyperhidrosis on your arms and legs. So for me personally, mine's a little bit different. So of course the clothes, I want to, I feel like if you look good, you play good. Even sometimes if I don't have a fresh shave, I'm like, I feel grody out here.
Facts.
But a couple of things that are absolutely necessary for me. I'm 40, so like things hurt, back, ankles, whatever. So I take 4 ibuprofen before every round, or I feel like something's gonna start painting me during the round.
Really?
4 ibuprofen is a must, and some caffeine. If I don't have my morning coffee and then a refill that I'm able to take out on the course, I always feel a little bit unfocused. Like we'll call it adult ADHD. Golf is a long game, right? And so being able to focus in for that, for that period of time, caffeine helps balance me out. And so I love, a fresh cup of coffee, especially if they have it on the course. If I have to resort to a Red Bull or something, on the course, I will do that. But those 2 are absolutely necessary. Other than that, I'm pretty straightforward. I do like to, if I can, absolutely go hit some balls the night before a round or get some really good kind of position practice in my living room just to feel like I'm not going out there, and especially if I'm running late or whatever, something happens before the round that I feel like I was prepared or I got any kind of bad habits out of the way before the round. And so those are my kind of things. Ibuprofen, coffee, and some kind of practice the day or night before a round are important to me. But other than that, I'm pretty easy. Clothes, keep some fresh golf clothes and shoes. I have an overabundance of shoes at this point. So it's just then pairing it up and there's got to be some weird, golf habits out there that people, what are some ones that you've heard from other people that you've played with?
Let's see. I play with a group now, like my morning guys. They always got to have like a speaker. They always got to have some music playing. And the music group is eclectic. It's like sometimes it's like house music. Other times it's like hip hop. Then other times it's just like flat out like an artist, like Drake or like Lil Baby or something like that. I've actually toned it down on music because you know how I used to feel. I
was gonna ask you that you used to hate the music on the course, so you've come around to it being okay.
It's okay now. Rod knows he knows me so well. The music, it kills me. I used to could not do it. I can't now. Sometimes it helps me lock in more. So like it doesn't affect me that much, and I feel like
okay.
Let's see. Yeah, I think my group is pretty much, ho-hum, whatever it is. Now, I feel like old heads, they always have to have, like, some change in their pocket. And, who's the worst people? The worst people are the people that are the cigar connoisseurs. They ask the shop if they have any cigars. Then they go out on the shop, and they already have some in the bag already. Then they don't need matches. They got the torch lighter. They got the cigar holder on the cart. I
I was gonna say I have a couple in my group, in my regular group that have the holders. They are ready. They are prepared. They
Yeah,
come with
bro.
theirs. They come with extras and offer everybody one in the group. Um, we have a couple guys also in our. We're pretty competitive. We're playing for money. It's a year long league, and so it's pretty competitive. But so we don't have guys that like to get super sauced. But we had a birthday in our group this past weekend, and I didn't ride in that group and that foursome, but there were shots flowing. They came into the clubhouse already a little bit tipsy already, but that's not my thing either. Like I have never been just gone. Maybe in a scramble, maybe in a charity scramble where they were just kind of giving out beer. I'm not a drinker when I play. I cannot do that. That's just not for me, but I get it. Some guys, it's their weekend. They're living for that round and that 6 or 12 pack on the course. They are living for that. That's their escape from life, and I get it. That's what some people need. That is not for me.
I cannot. I have to be completely sober playing golf. I can't do it anymore. I have to be like water, Gatorade, Red Bull. That's it. Yeah. I'm thinking about the last time I drank while playing, and I cannot remember the last time I drank while playing. I cannot.
Nope. I think I had one crappy round probably a couple years ago, and it was pretty much over by like 10. So I got a fireball shot, and that kind of settled me down. Actually, ended up playing a little bit better on the back, but that was like a one-time thing where it was just like the wheels had fallen off from the beginning.
Right, and that's the thing. It'd be like
just
it'll be like a White Claw or something. Like I'm already good. Like I'm woozy. Like bro. Like I do not drink. I wish I could.
Yeah.
It's not for me at all.
I know. It takes a certain type. Cool. I mean, we've hit our topics for the day. What random thing would you like to cover before we close out for this week's show?
Well, I guess we can be in connection with John Morant. Steven Jackson just had to open his big mouth and say some even more just like the dumbest thing possible. He said Ja didn't need to change how he's moving or that he didn't need to rehab. I'm like, Steven, you, sir, are like a big three, like Hall of Famer. I think you need to stay in your lane and let the big boys that are making like, $200 million on a shoe deal and stuff like that. I think you need to let them handle their business how they handle it. And you need to just go ahead and go on back to what you were, Port Arthur or Beaumont or, however they do things over there. I think you need to go back and do those things over there. It's my only take right there right now.
It's your random thing for the week. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to add to that. I don't disagree at all. We all need to stay in our lane. If you're gonna advise people, you should at least have walked in those shoes. And Steven Jackson, while successful, has never made the kind of money that John Morant has available to him. So we'll see how this foolishness continues.
Yeah.
This week, or next week, I should say, back again, 10 p.m. Central, the Bearded Bros Golf Show. We're coming every single week consistently with our live show, depending on what the topics bring us or what springs our interest. We appreciate you chiming in, commenting, watching if you're watching. Catch the clips throughout the week, and we'll see you again next week. Peace.